Hey everybody, Ash from Quantify Performance. I've got the Knights LPR up on the tripod. I've got phone scope set up on it. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going onto the phone scope and I'm going to be talking to you guys through some of the zeroing stuff that you have to take into account when you choose a zero. There's a lot of videos out there about choosing a zero, or there's content out there about choosing a zero. So SMEs all have their little favorite pet peeve zero. And I just wanted to talk you guys through that via looking down the scope. There's some issues. So with that, I'm going to go onto the phone scope and we'll see how it goes. All right, so we're going to start on here. I don't know if I'm getting any echo or not, but we're going to start up in here and we're going to start on this target. All right. So everybody's seen the cool little internet pictures of the bullet striking up here, 200 yard zero, and your 100 yards going to be up here. And your 300 is going to be down here, your 250, all this sort of shit, right? Now, the problem is that only matches for that particular gun, okay? So when you see that internet picture, that is that dude set up on his velocity, his sort of stuff, whatever data that he came up with, and it's not necessarily true, okay, to your gun. So what you have to do is you have to get your data for your gun, and you have to figure out where your bullet's going to land, okay? So, and depending on what you want to do. So, if I'm just shooting at this little target from across the yard, if the bullet lands anywhere in the Z zone, I'm happy, right? Now, when we get into reality, what if I need to do this headshot, okay? So this battle sight zero, all this sort of stuff is cool. It's cool for armies, it's cool for Marine Corps, it's cool for all that sort of thing. But let's talk about us as the individual. If I'm doing this shot right here on this head and I need to hit the A zone on it, right, that zero needs to be something that I understand, okay? So we're going to go over here to this little target, right? And this is where it gets a little bit confusing for people, especially for red dot people. So what I want you to do as a red dot people, I want you to visualize that dot in the center, right there, my center dot on my little attacker reticle. I want you to imagine that dot is your red dot, okay? So, if I'm doing a specific target shot, so let's say I got a 50 yard zero on it, and I need to shoot, and I'll set this a little bit here so you can kind of see the target, right? So I need to shoot a 300 yard target with my red dot. I zero my red dot at 200 yards. Basically, let's say that my drop is 10 inches on my 300 yard target from my 200 yard zero, right? So I need to take this little dot on this little tiny ass target right here, and I need to visualize putting 10 inches of hold over the top of it and getting that bullet to go into that target. Now that's great when you have a full, basically a target this size and it's this whole thing, but let's cut this in half and just say everything above the sight right there is what I have to hit. Now if I'm trying to visualize, and let's use the big ring as my dot, and I'm trying to visualize that 10 inches above the head there, right, and I only have half of that target to see, okay, you see how it starts to get a little bit more complicated on it, right? So, I like a 100 yard zero. The reason that I like a 100 yard zero is my bullets are always below the dot, okay? So if I need to shoot, say I got the zero on there and I'm shooting at 25 yards, it's going to be probably about 2 inches below the dot, and as I'm striking, okay? Now, my 300 yard hold is 1.2 mils, okay, which is basically right at the bottom of that little reticle dot. So anything that I'm going to shoot, my rounds are below it. So anytime I'm missing, like if I don't have a good range around it or anything, I just raise the gun up and give it a little bit more, give it a little bit more, give it a little bit more. Now, if I don't have a reticle to do that 1.2 mils, right? So let's say that's a 300 yard target and I don't have that reticle, it is still very hard to shoot that with that red dot, but I know that the bullet is below. So here's what I run into. When with a 200 yard zero or 25 yard zero, my bullet is so many inches in high in flight. So let's just go with the old M16A2 or M4A2 or M4 data with 855A1. Okay, my bullet's about 7 inches high at 150 yards. So if I'm shooting at 150 yards, I have to aim low, 7.5 inches if I want to hit that A zone. If I'm shooting a 300 yard target, I need to aim 10 inches high to hit that A zone. If I'm shooting a 200 yard target, I just hold center and I do all these weird things. I'm moving the reticle up and down and up and down and up and down. Now at the 100 yard zero, I just know that the bullet before 100 yards, the bullet is below it, so I can hold a little high. And after 100 yards, the bullet is a little bit below it, so I can just add higher, 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 higher. Okay? So that's the reason that I like a 100-yard zero, is because I can just do that, hold high, right? So, but some people like that. Some people like a 300-yard zero. Some people like a 36-yard zero. Main thing to remember is the farthest distance that you actually zero to is your zero, okay? A 50 does not equal 200. A 25 does not equal a 300. It all depends on combination and ammunition and all sorts of other factors, okay? Now, is it going to be close? Yeah, okay? If you have a target that's this big and you're shooting on that, then that's cool, right? So if I had to do a let's just say 2 mil hold, okay, because it's easy to see on there, right? I got my little 2 right there. So if I need to do a 2 mil hold, that bullet is going to land on that target somewhere because it's a really big target, right? So now let's go to this little target, and there's a little square in the center there. It's a little blurry because I'm zoomed way in, but I'm going to miss that center dot if I don't have a good 2 mil hold on it, okay? It's going to miss. That is going to miss, right? So it all depends on target size. And let's go to this little guy over here, right? Now, getting a 2 mil hold on there is significantly harder, right? So if that bullet is not flying at exactly 2 mils, or I'm trying to hold over, let's take the mil scale out of there, and I'm trying to hold over, you see it is about at the top of the paper. So if I'm just trying to hold at the top of the paper right there, that gets really hard, right? So, but at least I would be close if I was just holding over, and I don't have to worry about going low, going high, going low, going high. Where's that target at? Where's my bullet at? I've got all this weird stuff going in. So that's why I like a 100-yard zero. You might like a 200-yard zero because you feel that you're only going to be shooting your firearm inside the house, or you're only going to be shooting within 50 yards. And that may be all you do. If you're shooting in a 50-yard bait all the time, put a 50-yard zero on it, and it's done. Okay? Know where your bullet is in flight. That's the biggest important thing. And you have to input your data. You have to input it into a ballistic calculator. Somebody's got one. Get your buddy to put it in there for you, and know where your bullet is in flight. All right, so we're down here at 1X, okay? So what I want to talk about with 1X is getting that hold applied onto a big target like this. That's easy, right? So I can come up here. Now, if I need to shoot one of these little dots over here, okay, on 1X, okay, and that's a 1-inch dot, is about 25 yards over there, right? So if I need to shoot this representative of a 300-yard target right here, and I have a 200-yard zero on there, I'm trying to put this dot at the proper spot on this target, right? So you can tell that it's really hard to see when I'm trying to do that. So I might be floating up here. Now if I zoom in and I know what I'm supposed to be doing, because we talked about that in the other video, I should have my hold about at the top of the white paper, right? But that's easy to see when you're over here and there's nothing there, right? But I start putting this dot over here at this attacker, and I start putting it in here, I might be a little high, I might be a little low. It's hard to see that target on the 1X to get that proper hold applied to the target. So that's just something that talking about with the red dots and the LPV is.